What's up, everybody? It's your boy Digital here. This is going to be the first installment in a new series I'm creating called Maybe It's Magic, where we take a deeper look into pop culture phenomenons, mainstream or underground, and see what really went in behind them to make it work. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Avengers #1, 1963. I figured since Endgame just reached the #1 spot for box office sales and Marvel's going to be rolling into their phase 4, there'd be no better time than right now to take a look at this piece of entertainment. So everybody grab a seat, strap your seatbelts on, and let's get started. Alright, so before we jump into Avengers issue #1, I want to give you guys a brief history and overall look of comic books at the time. Basically, in the 1950s, to put it lightly, superhero comic books were not doing well. People didn't need Captain America anymore since their grandfather was coming home from overseas and just blasted away a bunch of Nazis. So, to follow the pop cultural changes, Marvel, then known as Timely Comics or Atlas Comics, like other comic companies, was testing out a variety of new genres. This included like westerns, horrors, romance, and a bunch of others, all to varying degrees of success. It wouldn't be until DC Comics saw huge positive feedback with their series The Justice League of America that Marvel kind of decided, hey, why don't we just copy that? So that's exactly what they did. In late November 1961, writer/editor Stan Lee and Jack Kirby decided to drop the Fantastic Four, which may have also been a ripoff of DC, but that's for another video. So it was 2 years later when we would get the Avengers, Earth's mightiest heroes. Let's take a look and see if the Avengers were destined to be the worldwide hit that they are today from the beginning.
I'll fight evil. Whoa!
Are you ready to be an Avenger? To be an Avenger, you must be strong, smart, quick, and true. Avengers assemble!
In the first issue here, we get to see Loki just chilling in the Isles of Silence. I guess he was banned there by Thor in a previous issue, and he decides to use his thought projection, which is an ability where he can just take his mind to see everything in the universe. They don't really like specify if it's just all over the universe, but there's a panel of him doing it in Asgard, one on Earth. He basically, in the end, comes across Don Blake, who's Thor's human identity, and catches him doing some doctor work on a child who's about to go play baseball. And I don't know what kind of parenting that is, where you just get a shot and then boom, stuck some steroids in ya, I guess. And so now Johnny's off to play baseball, and Loki is devising a plan to trick the Hulk, who is basically at large. The world does not like the Hulk at the moment. He is known as a bad guy because he can't control himself, and so he devises a plan to put TNT on a railroad that the Hulk is simultaneously passing to get the attention of his brother Thor. His plan is for the Hulk to crash into the railroad because it turns out the TNT is also just a thought projection, and that's not really there. I don't really understand this plan because it's like, even if the Hulk was saving the TNT, would he have been able to stop himself from crashing into the railroad? Would he have not crashed into the railroad if it was real TNT? So because it's fake TNT, he's just crashing into the, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But anyways, the plan doesn't even matter because even though the Hulk crashes into the railroad, he still finds the time to grab a boulder, stick himself between the boulder and the railroad, lifting it up so that the train doesn't crash. And so the people literally don't even have a reason to hate the Hulk or fear him in this moment. He literally saved their lives. But luckily for Loki, I guess, the conductor on the train and everybody, all the passengers and everything, they still freak the out about the Hulk, and they're like, oh, the Hulk tried to kill us. How about Loki? You just actually put TNT on the bridge, you blow up the train, and give them a reason to actually want to kill the Hulk. I don't know. I know I'm getting probably nitpicky, but whatever. That kind of bothered me. I was like, what? This whole plan is stupid. There's no reason. You could have just blown up the bridge, or you can literally see anything. I don't know. Whatever. So then, after that, press is going crazy. They're printing out newspapers that say, Hulk attack on train. Train engineer identifies Hulk as would-be wrecker because obviously they didn't get wrecked. So then the issue does cleverly transition to a cool panel of James Dean reading about the Hulk accident. No, I'm just kidding. It's Rick Jones, who just eerily looks like a 1945's James Dean, and he brings the message back to his teen brigade, which is basically the modern day equivalent to a Discord channel or something like that.
What a creation!
Yo! These happened!
What have I done?
Right.
What have I done?
What is that?
What have I done?
Oh my god!
What have I done?
Oh yeah!
What have I
and he goes, yo, we're a bunch of youthful radio ham enthusiasts, so what do we have to do? We have to send a radio wave to the Fantastic Four. They have a special wavelength. Let's contact them pronto. And so basically, they shoot the wavelength out to the Fantastic Four, but Loki's still looking with that thought projection and says, not gonna happen, and he twists down a tornado and he shoots the wavelength into a different direction. However, he has to be the unluckiest villain of all time because it doesn't reach the Fantastic Four, but the wavelength does reach Thor, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Iron Man, which pretty much is the same thing, if not even worse. So simultaneously, Thor, Iron Man, the Wasp, and Ant-Man pull up on the Team Brigade, and they're just their pants at this time. Thor's like, why so surprised? Didn't you send for me? And it's like, no. I don't get why Ant-Man and the Wasp don't just grow to full size, but they use a camera projector that they have to talk to the group, which, I mean, I thought they were a radio ham enthusiast group. Why do they have a camera projector? But whatever, minor details. So Loki at this time pretty much is realizing that his plan is going to crap. He decides to send a thought projection of the Hulk jumping past the window of the Team Brigade building, and Thor is just happening to look out the window while this is going on. So he sees the fake Hulk jumping by, he swings his hammer into a helicopter propeller, starts following the Hulk around into the desert, and then once he finally realizes that the Hulk isn't the real Hulk and it's just a thought projection, boom, he realizes it's Loki. So he goes to Asgard, crosses the Rainbow Bridge, and then it cuts to probably my favorite part of this issue, where the Hulk is in hiding as a circus clown, but he's pretending to be a robot circus clown who's juggling elephants and horses and sea otters and stuff, and no one can tell the difference between him being the Hulk and being a robot circus clown. And so everyone, this is like the biggest circus event ever. It's like bigger than Ringlings and stuff like that, and he's lifting up full cages of lions, pretty much just lifting the whole circus. And the only way he gets caught is that a single ant out of Ant-Man's team sees him and then sends the signal to Ant-Man that this is the Hulk. It takes a single ant to differentiate the Hulk and a robot circus clown, and not a single member of this audience was able to tell that. I think that really says something about people, maybe. That's bravo on the writers for giving us such a real depiction of humanity. I really appreciate it. We are stupid. So, a bunch of ants dig underground. They form a tunnel under the Hulk, which ends up cracking the ground beneath him, and he falls down in it, getting stuck until he just flexes his he literally flexes his muscles to break out of the ground and then jumps out, and a chase ensues between the Avengers and the Hulk. They're putting him in nets and stuff, but nothing is going to be able to stop this man. He's the strongest creature in the universe, pretty much. And so then it cuts back to Thor in Asgard. He's traveling through the Isles of Silence, where he's trying to find Loki and confront him about all of his mischief behaviors. And so he gets squeezed by like the Whomping Willow or something like that until he just swings his hammer again, and then he's out. And so then he finds the island where he's eventually confronted by Loki and like a Twister, but then when he gets there, he gets grabbed by a troll whose main goal in this was that Loki promised the trolls they could enslave Thor to become a miner. Literally, this troll has been working for Loki for like who knows how long, 50 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, just to be able to get Thor to work in their coal mines, pretty much. And so Thor is the god of lightning, and so boom, he puts up his hammer as they're dragging him down and shocks the one troll that's on him, because like I don't know how many trolls are down there. Maybe it's just the one. Maybe that's why they need him so bad to do the mining and everything like that. But he shocks that guy back into the pits of hell, and Loki's like, oh crap. So he just starts doing thought projections everywhere. He's like, thought projection, and there's like 10 Lokis now. So Thor is like, you know what, let me spin my hammer. That seems to solve everything in this comic. So he spins it, he blows away all of the thought projections until it's Loki hanging on for dear life on the edge of a tree and basically Loki's like, I would rather kill myself than let you defeat me right now. So before he can let go, Thor, I just can't even believe what I read in this. He's like, blast you, Thor. You still won't get me. I'll let myself plunge over the cliff before you can seize me. So Loki would literally kill himself rather than have Thor take him capture right now. But Thor takes his hammer and slams it on the ground, and it becomes a magnet hammer, which somehow attracts Loki to it. And he basically just has Loki on a magnet on his hammer, and he's swinging them around. And then it just cuts back to the chase with the Hulk, and Iron Man is flying behind him. And so he flies up next to an aircraft, and he's talking to some pilots, and he's like, attention flight 378, this is Iron Man. Have you seen the Hulk? Repeat, have you seen the Hulk? And so those pilots are just shook out of their mind, and they dry snitch real quick, and they're like, he went that way. And so basically, it turns out that the Hulk is in a tire manufacturing plant. So Iron Man, he shows up and starts throwing tires at the Hulk, who flinches, I guess, because I mean, it's not like he could just deflect them or not move or something. I mean, they're just rubber tires. So he basically grabs some of the tire manufacturing equipment and then throws it back at Iron Man, who catches it with his hands, and then he reconfigures the equipment into some sort of spear that he throws to trap the Hulk on the wall. But voila, the Hulk is too strong, and he just breaks the brick wall behind him. When, I don't know, the other stuff is metal. He could have just obviously ripped that off too, probably. But nonetheless, Thor shows up with Loki still attached to his magnet hammer, and he's like, stop, you two don't have to fight anymore. And so they talk for a second. Loki goes radioactive out of nowhere, like he's the spider that bit Spider-Man. And so they all just I can't even believe what I'm about to say. So he's stepping towards them in this factory, and Ant-Man and the Wasp have this plan where if he perfectly stepped over this trap door, Loki will fall into it, and it's like a anti-radioactive chamber or something. And so basically they can't be affected by him anymore, and he's just stuck in this chamber that he fell through the floor in. And they're like, all right guys, he landed down here. This is where the trucks carry radioactive waste from the atomic tests. I don't know, whatever, I guess it worked. Then they just riff a little more together, and it turns out that the Wasp is the one who gives them the Avengers their name, because she's like, it should be something colorful and dramatic, like the Avengers. And Ant-Man's like, nope, nothing else, that's it, the Avengers. Let's not discuss this for one more second. We don't need a better name than that. And so the Hulk and everybody just make up, and they're like, oh, it's okay, we shouldn't have been fighting the whole time. We all just got bamboozled by Loki, the god of evil. And so then that's the end. That is Avengers #1, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Honestly, I was kind of goofing on it a little bit here at the end and mainly through the whole thing, but it isn't that bad. It is a little camp because of it's from the 60s, obviously, but let's be real, there's a lot worse stuff than we could be reading, and getting some jokes out of it is entertaining to say the least. So I think it is a good comic. It might not be something that is as groundbreaking as Endgame, that has the whole world at the edge of their seats, but I think it is a funny intro. It's something that really has a novelty factor to it. You can read this, get a good laugh, and the story isn't that bad. I really think this is a good start to the Avengers, and although I don't think this would be the exact reason why it took off, it definitely took a little magic for them to keep working until they got something that was as big as it is today. It is really the cohesion between all of the different artists, all of the different writers who worked on the Avengers throughout the years that made them what they are. I think we have to thank Stan Lee for creating these superheroes who have a real life factor to them and give us something to relate to in a superhero, not just your everyday Superman iconic character. So, like I said, this one definitely maybe isn't magic, but with some hard work, some sweat and some tears, and a couple bankruptcies, you definitely could get yourself an Avengers. Thank you guys for watching. If you want more of my videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell to get notified every single time that I upload. I really do appreciate all of you who come back and comment every single day and leave likes, all of that. It does mean the world to me. So, like I said, this is going to be the first installment in my new series, Maybe It's Magic. Let me know down below what you want me to make a new video on next time. Also, let me know what you think of this comic. Do you think it's camp? Do you think it's nostalgic? Let me know your feelings and your thoughts and your opinions. I would love to hear what you have to say. Like always, it's your boy Digital Ark. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.